Alexa, show me my baby.
Okay.
There she is.
So I'll repeat the announcements again just so I can put it in the Spotify episode. Nathan Burnett, episode 12. We are joined by Cool G. He'll be joining here in a little bit. He was gonna be here with his camera, but he had a last minute change of schedule, and so he's on the road right now. And so he's gonna be using a Bluetooth in the car, using his voice, both hands on the wheel, hands free, completely safe. But he still wanted to make it on the show, so he's calling in. And I just wanted to remind you guys that these episodes are available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, wherever you find your podcasts, so you can listen to them in audio if you don't have YouTube Premium, so you can put it on in the background while you're cleaning the kitchen, while you're at work, while you're folding laundry, whatever you're doing, you can pop that audio in rather than having to have the YouTube app open. And then also, as well, we finally hit 50 listeners on Spotify, so that means we can start getting sponsorships, which is really exciting, and all that money is going to go back into production. Whatever money we get from sponsorships is going to go towards things like new cameras, new microphones, maybe a studio if we have enough money, a new PC laptop, or PC desktop, I meant, rather than a laptop, things like that. And also new social medias that I'll put in the description. We finally have a TikTok. The TikTok's going to be used to be posting clips of the show. So if you've already seen the full episode, it won't really be new content. And then Twitter is going to be clips of the show as well, and also a way to keep in contact with you guys. So if the show gets delayed, if the show gets canceled, or anything like that, that's going to be a way to keep in contact with you guys, since I can't use the community tab on YouTube yet. And it'll also be a way for y'all to interact with me. If y'all have something y'all want me to talk about on the show, y'all can, DM me or tweet at me, that sort of thing. I was really late to the Twitter and TikTok party just because I didn't want to use TikTok, and I didn't want to use Twitter because I thought Twitter was toxic, but now I am using it. So, and I just heard the Discord sound, so I think Cool G is in here. So let me pause the music. You in here, man?
What's going on?
There he is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Let me turn you up real quick. All right, man. First off, how you doing? I know you're using the car audio, so hands free. You staying safe?
Sir, yes. Sir, it was like just like a family thing I needed to do real quick. So yeah, personally, I'm on the road. I apologize, man. It was like a last minute thing.
All right. You're a bit of a robot right now, but we'll bear with it. We make do with what we have. So. All right, man. Hopefully your audio starts working, but this is a hero known as Cool G. He's got about 120, or yeah, I think it's 120 subs on YouTube. Oh, he left and joined. He's gonna join back, I think. I've been in contact with him. Was really looking forward to collaborating with him. Because he's a really optimistic Spurs fan, and if you watch his channel, he's got loads of energy. He's got some videos talking about, the big three, and he actually made a bold prediction thinking that the Spurs are going to win their 6th championship within 4 years. So that's what I wanted to talk to him about, as well as some other questions I got lined up for him. So,
Hello?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You're going in and out, but I can hear you.
All right, let me pull my mic a little bit closer. All right, hopefully that's good.
Yeah, man, there's just so much traffic going on today. But yes, sir. And if you wanted to do another video with me when I'm not running around, full video and everything.
Yeah, hopefully we can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do apologize for this for this time though.
It's all good, man. We work with what we got. All right, so while you were off the call, I talked about your channel and everything. You got some Spurs videos as well as a lot of motivation stuff, which I really like. So, You want to go ahead and just introduce yourself to people a little bit more than I have, or?
Sure, man. I'll say a little thing. What is going on, y'all? I am the hero known as Cool G. Kind of took on that persona just because I wanted to put a little more motivation into the world. Just be another positive voice out there in our generation. But I mean, I also talk about other stuff. You know, like I'm just like you guys. We all got great potential within ourselves. And some interests that are about me is yep, one of them is the Spurs. Diehard Spurs fan for as long as I remember. I don't want to say in the womb, but I like to think that.
Yeah, I was watching your your video with Clan before this, just so I like could get more info on you, because I didn't want to like repeat Clan's video, you know. I didn't want to ask you the same exact question, so I watched his, and I like your answer to whenever he asked you that. He asked you like how long you've been a Spurs fan, and you were like, ever since I was in my mom's womb, since she was around San Antonio.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much that's how it goes. You know, you're either a diehard or you're not, at least.
Yeah. All right, so first question I got for you, man. Reason I kind of latched onto you is you made a bold prediction in one of your videos. You said that in 3 to 4 years the Spurs can win a championship, and I was interested. How do you think that's gonna happen? Do you think it will be mainly with the guys we have now, or it be with a draft pick, or?
I definitely So yeah, first of all, yes, I think in the next 3 to 4 years. I mean, honestly, depending on the development of the guys we got now, heck, it could even be like sooner. But I think that is more than possible, because it wasn't until I really saw Keldon Johnson play in Team USA basketball in Japan that really kind of sparked that for me, because we got rid of DeMar, we got rid of Patty, we got rid of Rudy. We really didn't have a superstar after that, and I was kind of thinking to myself, you know what? This is where we have to trust Pops and the organization to train these guys to work together, and they already work hard, and they're nothing but a bunch of young guys. And the last time that we had nothing but young guys who are dedicated and have the heart for it, we had won 4 championships. I'm sorry, 5. No, 4. It was Tim Duncan 99. We acquired Tony Parker. We got that chip in 03. We got Manu 05 and then 07. So a lot of people like to sleep on the Spurs because they say Pops is an old person. He's an old timer, and that he can't like he needs to retire, and his ways are kind of like, you know, out of style. We need like a fresh minds in there. Absolutely not, because he's got the fundamentals, and the last time I checked, we had a big fundamental named Tim, and we got 5 championships with him.
I agree 100%, man. I like the way you put it. Like the last time we won, we had a big fundamental. So yeah, I agree 1,000%. Can I ask you a question though? You whenever I was watching your Clan video, you said a lot of it is based on Pop's coaching skills and our development staff. So, do you think it's still possible if Coach Pop were to retire, based on, you know, Manu, Becky Hammond probably stepping up as head coach? Do you think that it's still possible if Pop were to retire before that, even though I don't think he will, but let's say he does?
So if he retires before like like the transition and like the development of the players that we got now, I still do believe that. I still do believe that we have a chance to win a championship in the near future. Because one, I remember like a couple weeks ago, or it was like last week, when I heard that Manu is going to be joining like the front office and like the coaching staff, I was like, well then there you have it, because you already have somebody who's been coached by Pops. You know, like Manu is one of the greatest in the game. A lot of people don't like to talk highly about him, but he is not only a dominant
You're cutting out again, man. But it
superstar on that team. So
oh, you're good now. You're good.
one, barbecue. And so the fact that Becky, Anu, and even the assistant head coaches and stuff, like Mike Budenhauser, he just won a championship with the freaking Bucks. That was all Pops. He was a assistant coach for like 17 years for the Spurs organization.
Yeah.
Monty Williams went to the finals. Took the Suns for to their first finals appearance ever.
Yeah.
He was with the Spurs organization under Popovich. So the fact that we have these people that have been marinated by like the Pop sauce, it's only going to trickle down in the organization. And since if people want to make the argument, oh yeah, well they're not Pops. Okay, they're not. They're players. Becky, Manu. Then you got people that have been rolling with them for years as assistant coaches and in those leadership positions. They know the framework. They know the blueprints. And when you have a system like that, who can understand how to put players together, even though they might be like different, like skill wise. Like, okay, DeJounte needs the ball, and Keldon Johnson needs to be that role player. He needs to fit in the slots. But you got all the pieces together. It's just a matter of time before you figure out how the puzzle goes, and then boom.
I can agree with that. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so going with that, do you think that Joshua Primo would develop better in the G League, or do you think that we should have him in San Antonio, especially after that monster preseason game he had, or do you think that we should still keep him in G League since he's super young and give some more minutes to people like Derek White and DeJounte Murray that are already on the roster that want more development?
So yeah, no, let's talk about the homie Primo. I'm really looking forward to him as an upcoming star in the franchise. Like, I really think he's got good potential as one of the youngest draft picks ever. Like, can you imagine? That's like if LeBron or Kobe were, instead of going out of high school, they went to college and then they were still drafted, but they were young. Like, that's the kind of potential that we have with this young man. So that preseason game just showed us a little bit of his stardom, if you will. I know I'm probably saying that a little too early, but I don't think so. But I do think it's a smart move to put him in the G League because you really want him to, You really want him to develop as going in from like, okay, I just kind of like finished playing college ball. Now I'm ready. Now I'm ready to do, the big leagues. And that's a big transition, especially for someone as young as him. So I think he's going to benefit from that a lot. And he's already showed us in that preseason game that he has what it takes to make it in there. But it's never a bad idea. It's never wrong to sharpen your pencil even more because that just makes it even finer. And when you use it, beautiful. It's gonna work out. And with him being in the G League temporarily, it gives Derek White, Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell. It gives all these players that we have now the opportunity to, because I know a lot of them, a lot of them were like, okay, we're going to come back and things are going to change. They're different because we lost our superstars, kind of. So, a lot needs to happen. But that's good because it's going to give these guys kind of that mentality that I'm the next one up. We the franchise can produce people like the big three, like David Robinson, like George Gervin. We just, had a great...
Oh, you cut out, man. You cut out at David Robinson and George Gervin. All right, I'm not able to hear him. Hopefully his audio comes back shortly. Again, we're just kind of working with what we got, guys. We're trying to figure out the audio because he's on the road right now, but he's using Bluetooth. He's staying safe. So, all right, while we're waiting on his audio to come back, I'll talk about some other stuff that isn't Spurs related. I haven't done Loser of the Week in a while, partly because it's preseason. And there isn't much to go off with preseason. And hang on, let me pull this up real quick. I know that there isn't much to say about preseason. It's a sin to make predictions based off preseason because preseason is preseason. But my loser of the week is probably going to be either the Cleveland Cavaliers or the Lakers. And the reason for that is because the Cleveland Cavaliers are 1-3. Like, they've been doing very poorly, and like they've been playing. It's not like other teams where they're not playing their starters, because they've been playing Kevin Love, they've been playing D Wade, but they're still losing every night. And then people like the Lakers, again, it's preseason, so I don't want to say too much, but I just wanted to have a loser of the week. But LA is playing, Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis. They were playing Melo like a couple days ago, and they're still losing. And there was that huge thing before about Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook had 9 turnovers the other night, and we look at the plus minus of these players. Anthony Davis minus 13, Russell Westbrook minus 14. Is that yeah, that's Kent. Kent minus 14, Ellington minus 8, DeAndre Jordan minus 22. Like, and again, it's preseason, so it is what it is with preseason. But the Lakers and the Cavaliers have just been taking L's, and I think it's because of what I was saying before, that the team just does not mesh well together. They are too old, and they have to blend with each other's play styles. Like, Russell Westbrook does not shoot from the 3 that often, and Russell Westbrook is also used to being the facilitator, and now he's playing with people like Anthony Davis and LeBron James. He can't go through the paint every single play because Davis and James are already in the paint. And now LeBron has to kind of rely on somebody else to be the person to facilitate the ball movement, because even though LeBron is a big guy, obviously there's the jokes like "lay GM" or "lay coach." LeBron is used to leading that team even as a big man, and now you have a small guy like Russell Westbrook that has to be the one to dish out the ball. And but that's all I got for the Lakers. That's all I got for loser of the week. Rest of the stuff I got on here is pretty much Spurs related, so hopefully Hero can or Cool G can join back. It looks like he went offline from Discord, so I will just go ahead and go with the questions that I have written down for him. I will answer for myself instead, and then if he joins back, I will ask him the same questions, get his thoughts, see if he differs from my opinion. But this is a debate that has been going back and forth between Spurs fans for a while now. And I know Clan, that I talked about earlier, Clan the Spurs fan, is on the fence about it. I do not think that Ben Simmons will work in San Antonio. There are plenty of people saying we need a superstar, we should trade for Ben Simmons, things like that. And the main argument that I've seen with from people that agree with me that we don't want Ben Simmons in San Antonio, all sort of have the same argument. And that argument is it's a culture thing. Ben Simmons will not work in San Antonio because the Spurs is built around family. The Spurs family is, Spurs family is something that has been around for forever. That is the basis of their team. That is something that Pop has enforced in his players for forever. And then you have this Ben Simmons guy come in. Ben Simmons wanting a team built around him. Carrying himself with a little bit of ego, carrying himself with a chip from Philly, and being all Hollywood, thinking that he is the best player in the league, when, I don't want to say Ben Simmons is bad, but if you're getting traded, then obviously you're not the best player in the league. And I feel like coming in with that ego would be too much of a disturbance to the Spurs family, and it would cause too many problems with Ben Simmons trying to control everything and trying to have things his way versus Pop saying, I've won 5 championships. I've been coaching for I don't even know how many years at this point. I know how it's supposed to be. I'm the one who says how it's going to be, and you listen. You don't say, oh, I like it this way. You listen to me. And I feel like Ben Simmons would have a problem with that, and there's other people saying, well, Popovich is smart enough in order to get Ben Simmons out of that Hollywood mentality, and they could be right. Maybe Popovich would immediately snap Ben out of the Hollywood mind. But I don't want to take that chance. Like, you could trade him and take the chance that Pop could change him. But right now, I think he has too much of an ego. And so I think it would disrupt team chemistry that we've built for almost 2 decades at this point. Or actually over 2 decades. Because 99 plus 20 is 2019. So it's like 22 years. And so I've seen some other people on the fence, again, are coming from the other side saying, Pop can change him, and we need that superstar, and we would be able to accomplish Ben Simmons' goal of having a team built around him. But it's just a culture thing, and that is the argument that's been said a lot about Ben Simmons in San Antonio. But I just wanted to give my input on that, because I've commented on some videos. I've commented on Hardwood Knocks videos that I've commented on Clan's video about that. So I just wanted to say it on my own channel, my opinion on that. And that's really all I have about the Ben Simmons situation. Honestly, I said last podcast, I think it would actually be better to leave him in Philly. And that's just as a punishment thing. Like, if he's going to be complaining this much about Philly and, talking down on his teammates, talking down on his franchise, then he deserves to sit on the bench and not get paid and be shown that he is not the one that calls the shots like he thinks he is. Hey guys, so I realized when editing I phrased this very poorly. What I meant to say is I don't want to bring in a superstar, because then that superstar is going to get all the credit, and I want the work that these younger guys are putting in to be recognized. I want them to develop and get better and them to become the superstars rather than just bringing somebody in from a trade. And I want them to get the credit for all the work that they're putting in now rather than just bringing in a new guy and then suddenly winning a championship and everybody gives the credit to that new guy. So whenever you're watching this clip, that's what I meant to say, and I phrased it poorly, but for context, that's what I meant. And this is a take that may cause some controversy as well, but along with the Ben Simmons thing, I don't really want that big of a superstar on the Spurs. And the reason I don't want too much of a superstar is, so I just messaged Cool G. I don't think he's going to be dropping back in. So go follow him. His links will be in the description. Hopefully we can reschedule to have him on, because I would really like him on. But as I was saying before, I think it's better if we don't have a huge superstar. Obviously we want superstar power, but I also don't want the idea of a championship to be based around one person. I want each of the players on our team to get credit for that championship. If we go back to Philly, right? Say the 76ers somehow win the championship this year. Is anybody really going to care that Tobias Harris is a champion? No. They're all going to say that it was Joel Embiid. They're going to say Joel Embiid put the team on his back. Joel Embiid is the championship player. Joel Embiid this, Joel Embiid that. You know, nobody's really gonna be talking about those 4 other players that are starting. And I feel like it would be the same way with the Spurs. The Spurs have been finishing about 10th in the conference for the last couple years. And I feel like if we get a player that's really good, like, say Ben Simmons again. Say we get, like, a Ben Simmons type player. And then we start winning all of a sudden, immediately after we get that player, then everybody's going to say, like, oh, this player's putting the team on his back. And they're not going to be paying attention to these things that don't appear in the box score. Like, you can look at assist on a box score, but playmaking still, even with the assist, doesn't really appear in the box score. And Clan was talking about that the other day with Joshua Primo's offseason game, is that even though Joshua Primo was making less shots, he was still creating plays. Even as a very young player, he has this basketball IQ, and that doesn't show up in the box score. And if you're doing these things, wouldn't it be nice to have the credit for that? It's like if you were doing a group project and each person did exactly, let's say there's 5 people in a group because there's 5 on a starting lineup, and each of y'all did evenly about 20%. Each of y'all put in exactly what exactly what was expected of you. Y'all divided it up perfectly evenly. But 4 of y'all have B's in the class. 1 person has an A in the class. And the teacher goes, oh, y'all did well because y'all have this person that has an A in your group, when all of y'all still did 20%. And I feel like that's what would happen if we get like a huge superstar, is most of the credit would go to the superstar. And obviously if the superstar is superstar level, then that makes sense. But you also don't want 100% of the credit to go to the superstar. That's why I really like the Bucks championship, because Giannis was doing a lot. Therefore, he deserved a lot of the credit. But at the same time, not all of the credit went to Giannis. You know, there was key moments that were made by Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, even Bobby Portis Jr. while Giannis was out, that led to that championship. And so all of them have gotten recognition in the NBA community. And that's what I really like. Like, one of the main reasons we won that Game 6 was just the last few moments from Drew Holiday getting that steal. You know, everybody deserves their share of credit for how much work they put in. And Cool G was talking about Keldon Johnson earlier. Keldon Johnson is doing so much for the Spurs team that I feel like he's just going to be shunned out if we get a superstar. Even if it's not the same position. Like, Keldon plays like the 3 or the 4. Even if we get somebody that plays to 1, like, it's still gonna, Keldon's still gonna be shadowed by that. And then you also have the players that do play the 1 and the 2 that would be getting less minutes. And that is not good for their development, as Cool G was just saying. That's why we want to keep Primo in the G League, is because, like, obviously we would want him to play on the Spurs, but we also want to see minutes from people like Derek White and DeJounte Murray. And so that's why we put him in the G League, is so it doesn't take minutes away from those guys. So this is a next thing I have on here. I really wanted to ask Cool G this, because this has been a debate again in the Spurs community for a while, talking about who plays the center and the power forward spot on the Spurs. Because there are people saying, oh, this person should play that spot, this person should play that spot. And it's hard to say, like, even with me, like, I don't want to say who I would think, because it's changing every game, to be honest with you. And I think that's the way it's going to be in the season, because we have so many players at each position. I think that Pop is going to have pretty much a new starting lineup every single game. And honestly, that's kind of exciting because then all these people get similar playing time. And then at the end of the season, we can see who's not performing as well and who's performing monumentally. And that can lead to contract extensions, trades, what position we need to draft for, all that sort of stuff. So, but for right now, Clan had said, Luka should not play the center. And I don't know how I feel about that because I don't want Portal to play the center position. Maybe Landell. Landell would be good. Or you could even put Eubanks at the center spot. Because if you put Eubanks at the center spot, even though he's shorter, then you could put Doug McDermott at the 4 while Eubanks is at the 5. So that would be exciting. And then you have, we have the debate of starting 5s every week. So it's hard to say. Trying to look through some of these games to find something to talk about right now. So, I know it's been a discussion that Bryn Forbes is going to take minutes from our other guys. But is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I will leave it up to you guys. But I will say this, okay? He won on a championship team. We talked about this with CJ Hoop Talks about how Bryn Forbes probably didn't get that much minutes on that championship team. But whether you like it or not, Bryn Forbes is a champion. And if we look at his stats from the Spurs Detroit game, Lonnie Walker got 26 minutes. Keldon Johnson, 26 minutes as well. Derek White, almost 26 minutes. 13 points, 18 points, and 8 points. And then we go and we look at Bryn Forbes, 19 minutes, 20 points. He scored almost more than Walker and Derek White combined with nearly half as many minutes. Let's look at the field goal percentage real quick. And this is something that's been discussed again multiple times about how good Bryn Forbes is from different ranges. But people just don't want him because it's going to take minutes from people like Lonnie Walker and Derek White. Honestly, I think that we can trade out Bryn Forbes for Lonnie Walker. Because Lonnie Walker is an unrestricted free agent next year. And I think we can trade Lonnie Walker away. And I know Cool G is not going to like me saying that because he wants to keep Lonnie Walker at all cost. And so do a lot of other Spurs fans. But please hear me out, okay? I know it's preseason, and it is, it's crazy to judge things off preseason. But we are a basketball podcast. We have to have something to talk about. So we got to go off the information we have now. So this is not set in stone, but this is basing it off what we have now. Lonnie Walker is an unrestricted free agent next year, or restricted free agent. Here, let me check real quick, actually. No, he's a restricted free agent. I'm sorry. Either way, let's look at his stats during the Detroit game. He only has a 33 field goal percentage and 12.5 from the 3. And as I discussed earlier, he only had 13 points in 26 minutes. And he had a negative 11 plus minus. We go to Bryn Forbes. Bryn Forbes, 63 field goal percentage, 75 3-point, and a 0 plus minus. And that's with 19 minutes, 20 points. Sorry. So I honestly think that we can put Bryn Forbes in for Lonnie Walker, and it would benefit us. But then again, that is preseason when we're playing more of secondary people. Let's go to the Sixers real quick. How are the Sixers doing without Ben Simmons? The Sixers are 1-1 right now. The Sixers are using Milton as their guard right now. Now, he's listed as a guard forward. He's a little big, but at the same time, so was Ben Simmons. Let's look at his stats real quick. In 25 minutes, he scored 5 points, but he had a 2 plus minus and has a 40 field goal and a 53 point. And he has 4 assists and 1 steal, which I like to see from a point guard. He's feeding his ball to the people he needs to feed it to. You also have Isaiah Joe, Tyrese Maxey. It looks like a lot of them are getting minutes because they want to see who they can start in the season to replace Ben Simmons that won't be playing. And that's really exciting to see. You go to Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey, 21 minutes, 14 points, 22 plus minus. And he has a 66 field goal. I'm not going to say his 3-point because he only shot 1. Like, he has a 100 3-point, but that's only 1 for 1, so I'm not going to really count it. We also have Isaiah Joe. Isaiah Joe, 22 minutes, 15 points. 71's field goal, 75 3, 17 plus minus. So I feel like the Sixers will be fine without Ben Simmons. I really do think that. Ben Simmons, his main, and this has been said ad nauseum, but Ben Simmons' main capability is not his offense, it's his defense. So if you can get somebody to play that defense, then you're fine. And we look at Milton and Tobias Harris, each with 1 steal. Curry, Seth Curry, not Steph, but Joel Embiid, every single person on this roster, it looks like, has a steal. And there are 5 blocks across the team. There are 14 steals as well. And then 37 rebounds. And we look at, they were playing Toronto. They won the rebound battle. And Toronto had only 12 steals. So they won the steal battle. And Philly also won the assist battle. So if you're if you're missing a point guard that plays defense, then what do you need? You need somebody that can be an efficient point guard. Well, they won the assist battle. And if his main asset is defense, then you need somebody that can fill in the defense. Well, rather than getting one person that plays defense really well, they're just telling each player to play better defensively individually, and then as a group, then they are all playing better defense. They're getting more rebounds. They have Andre Drummond now. They're getting more rebounds. They're getting blocks. They're getting steals. So, I think the Sixers will be fine without Simmons. I really do. So, the Bulls have been winning a lot. And the reason for that is because they are pretty much playing their starting lineup for the regular season. Like everybody in preseason right now is pretty much doing their bench players. The Bulls, since they made huge trades, are playing their starting 5 that they would during the season. And each of them are playing as you would predict they would in the season. Because if they're all starting, then they're all playing with each other the way they would in the season. You know, like the playmaking is going to be the same. So you have DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Vucevic. I can't pronounce his last name. But I'm just gonna say Vucevic. Okay. You got Lonzo Ball and then Javonte Green. You know, they scored 121 points, 58 rebounds, 32 assists, 14 steals, 7 blocks. They're playing like it's regular season. And that's because their entire roster is pretty much exactly what it'll be during the season. And the same thing is happening with the Timberwolves. Timberwolves are 2-0 right now. And that's because if you look at who they're starting Vanderbilt, Russell, Edwards, McDaniels, and Towns. What do you think their starting lineup's going to look like in the season? It's going to look like Vanderbilt, Russell, Edwards, McDaniels, and Towns. And so they have 114 points, 46 rebounds, 23 assists, 11 steals, and 5 blocks. And that's why it's so bad to look at preseason stats, because you have players, or you have teams, you have teams that are just letting their bench players get some practice, basically like a scrimmage. And then you have the teams that are like, no, we're just going to play like it's a normal game. We're just going to send all of our starters out there and have one player drop like 40 in a preseason game. You know, but we're just looking at what we have because we need something to talk about. I'm coming up with topics on the fly here since Cool G disconnected. Once again, look at the Knicks. Knicks are the same way, 2-0. Aside from D Rose, because D Rose didn't play, D Rose didn't start this game. But versus the Wizards, you have Barrett, Toppin, Fournier, Gibson, and Walker. That's their starting 5. I mean, unless you can fit D Rose in there for Walker. But I think that the Knicks even came out and said that D Rose was going to be behind Walker this season. Versus Washington. Washington did the same thing. They put their full starting 5, except I'm sorry, Wizards fans, but Washington just isn't that good. They got Beal, Kuzma, Dinwiddie, Cadwell Pope, and Gafford. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Another one, Celtics, 2-0. You look at their starting lineup for preseason. Tatum, Smart, Horford, Williams III, and Longford. They're playing like regular season games. Bucks are 1-2 right now. Why are they 1-2? Because they're playing freaking Nuora and their benchers every game. The one they won, they were using Lopez and Giannis. And Middleton and Holiday and, you know, their starting 5 that they won the championship with, aside from PJ Tucker. Anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and end the episode there, guys. Just because there wasn't much to talk about, and Cool G ended up disconnecting. Hopefully we can have him on the podcast again when his audio is working and everything like that. I know it's a bit of a shorter episode, but I was hoping to... Oh, and the sun is in my face. Lighting is very bad right now. But hopefully we can have him on the podcast again, and his audio is working so we can talk Spurs with him. Bit of a shorter episode, you know, things happen. So anyways, I will catch y'all on the next one, guys, and peace out.